Good day, my fellow Star Wars fans, and welcome. My name is Benjamin, and today we're going to be creating a custom Star Wars Stormtrooper blaster. Let's get right into the build. Now, for the materials for this build, you're going to need a Kenner E11 Stormtrooper blaster. You can find these online for pretty cheap, and they're also extremely common at garage sales. You're also going to need a conversion kit. I got mine on a website called doobydoo.com, and it was pretty darn cheap. It's very high quality parts, and I would definitely recommend it. The tools you'll need for this build are a Dremel or other saw or cutting tool, an E6000 or another super glue. So the first thing I'm going to be doing on this build is cleaning off all of my parts, because there's a lot of 3D print residue on these when they arrived in the mail, so I'm just going to be wiping them all down with some Clorox wipes. As I'm doing this, I'm also going to be sanding down the pieces in any areas that need it. Okay, now I'm finished with that. I'm just going to run all these pieces under tap water to make sure that all the little pieces of residue get off. Now, while I'm waiting for those parts to dry, I'm going to go ahead and take my blaster itself, and I'm also going to wipe this down just to make sure that there's no residue anywhere on it that could interfere with our painting process. Alright, my blaster is now clean, and we can move on to our next step. Now, I got this conversion kit from a website called doobydoo.com. I know, it's an absolutely amazing name. I adore it. When you open the package, you've got all these 3D printed pieces here, and they're pretty darn smooth. You've got the power pack, the scope pieces, you've got this little barrel piece, the magazine. It even comes with a little sticker for the back of the scope and a belt clip so that you can hang it off your belt, which I thought was pretty cool. These are really good quality parts, and you can get them at a relatively cheap price from the website. Now that I have all my pieces washed off and my blaster cleaned, I'm going to cut down the blaster so that certain parts can fit on. As you can see right here, I've already cut off the little nozzle light piece right here. That's so that we can stick on this end piece nice and smoothly. I've also sanded that down so it's a flat platform. Now what I have to do is cut off this piece right here so that the scope can fit over it nicely. I'm going to be making these cuts with my Dremel. Alright, now I've gotten that to where I can just tear it off now. There we go, that piece is now completely off. So now we can fit the scope over that, so that's how that is going to look once it's done. Okay, so now everything is prepared so we can start the build. The first thing I'm going to do is glue together my scope with my E6000. Make sure that when you're using super glue, you're in a well-ventilated area and wearing gloves. Me personally, I have my windows open over there so these nasty fumes aren't in my house. Okay, so now my scope is glued together, and I'm just going to let this dry while I glue on some of the other pieces. So next, I'm going to take this piece right here and glue it right up there. Now I'm gonna take my power pack or magazine housing and glue it right here on this little rounded piece on the side of the gun. And as that is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and glue in my actual magazine just to get it going. Whoa, dang, I just realized I put all that glue in the wrong place. Perfect. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and tape down the pieces that are already on the gun so that they don't move while they're drying. For this, I'm just using regular masking tape. Love that sound so much. Okay, now I'm gonna wait for these. So I let all these pieces dry overnight and they're stuck on pretty well. I also went ahead and attached this back ring piece and this detail piece right here. The next thing I'm going to do is attach my scope. Alright, I think that went pretty well. The scope is on there and the glue is bonding pretty well. Okay, now the scope has dried and I'm going to stick on one of my side fins. When the package comes, there's two of these side fins. One is longer than the other. The shorter one goes on the left side, the longer one goes on the right side. I've trimmed these down and sanded them because in the beginning they come attached together and there's a lot of excess plastic that I just had to get rid of. Alright, now this is going to go right over these holes right here. Alright, so everything has dried, and I also went ahead and stuck on the end piece and the other side fin, just so we could get those out of the way. The next thing I'm going to do is attach this long piece right here. This is one of my biggest pieces, so I definitely need to be careful about how I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry a little bit before I put the glue on the other side. Alright, so I've stuck all those pieces on and I actually taped it up right here because it was drifting downward, and I stuck a little bit of glue so that it would stay up here. So now I'm going to wait for this to dry and then I'm going to attach our final two pieces. Okay, that piece is dry and I've taken the tape off, and now we're going to glue on this piece right here. Please bear with me with this background noise. My 3D printer is running right now and it's pretty darn loud. So I'm just going to hold this down while it dries to make sure it doesn't move or get out of place. Right, now I'm just going to let that piece dry. Alright, that piece is dry and it's looking pretty darn great so far. Now we're just going to stick on our last piece, which is this little thing, these two little cylinders. They're going to go right here on top of the magazine holder. Alright, here's our blaster with all the parts attached. It's looking great, honestly. I'm just going to do some finishing work and then we'll take it outside for spray painting. Okay, so now we're going to start our spray painting. I'm just using satin black Rust-Oleum paint. And we are finished with our build. It came out pretty nicely and everything is looking great on it. I'm not completely done with this. I still need to paint this side piece silver and do some touch-up work on areas where I messed up the paint. But for all purposes of this video, this build is complete. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It looks really, really good and it's pretty dang movie accurate, just like I had hoped. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to like. If you want to see more of my content, consider subscribing. Leave a comment if you want to. If you don't want to, then don't. I don't really care about comments. And as always, my name is Benjamin. May the force be with you.